So I'm walking my dog Kobe. She's right here. And I had this idea, this thought, that I notice myself and so many artists seem to deal with feeling like they're inferior or they're somehow a fraud and people are going to find out that they've been faking it this whole time. This is something that plagues so many people, from the highest tiers to the newest beginner in our industry. And just some ideas, some thoughts that came to mind for me is with the right ratio, with the right balance, it can be an okay thing to have hypercritical thoughts about your playing. But it can quickly turn to a negative thing if it's out of balance. If you are too negative, if you are too hypercritical about your playing, if you don't appreciate what you're doing well. You want to have a list of things that you can work on. You want to have a list of things to say, these are objectives that I haven't met yet. But you also want to relish and enjoy and appreciate, recognize the things that you do well. I'll give you an example. Yeah, a quick story. In 2014, I was full-time freelancing and I had a brief lull in work. So I joined Fiverr. That's with 2 R's, Fiverr. I joined that service to offer remote saxophone recordings. I got a mosquito on my face. I didn't know how well it would go. I thought, well, maybe if it goes well, it'll keep me on my horns a little bit more often. And also it will help me just fill up my schedule and get some extra cash. Before doing Fiverr, I used to be really critical about my saxophone playing. Feel like, oh, I don't do this like this player over here, or that player over there is really, really good at this approach, that sort of thing. And to, not to brag, but to put it humbly, the response from Fiverr has been great. It's been really, really positive. I've done something like over 580 projects on Fiverr and have a 5-star rating from about 99% of my clients. And that's fantastic. And it's made me realize that there are things in my playing that people appreciate and that they want to have in their songs. Sorry, I've got some people behind me, I guess. Anywho, if you're feeling inferior about your performance as a musician, as an audio professional, as a composer, sound designer, you know what? Keep it in check. Let some of that propel you and motivate you to get better, and let some of it just roll off your back because you want to keep your morale high. You want to keep your enthusiasm and you want to keep your self-confidence high. Artists just tend to be hypercritical of themselves. Artists tend to be very sensitive and feel like they suck. So there's this TED Talk I watched, and it discussed why people feel like others are more creative than they are. And it's a real simple premise. When you look at someone else's finished work, you don't see the whole process. You don't see all the doubt. You don't see all the turmoil, or even just not knowing what to do next. The evolution of ideas that the person goes through to finally get to the end product. Instead, you're seeing the end product and saying, man, this is awesome. I could never do something like this. But that's just not reality. So what is the takeaway here? The takeaway is to have a healthy balance of being critical about yourself as a musician and also appreciating and recognizing what you do well. I think in the long run that can help keep you more motivated to stay in music, to stay on your horn, to stay on your instrument, to feel good about the efforts you're putting into it. And yeah, I'm gonna have a beer. Healthy amount of critical thinking. Okay. Okay, let's try this again without sucking. So this TED Talk I was talking about. So this TED Talk is all about why you don't feel as creative as other people, because what you're seeing is their finished product. What you're seeing is the finished thing. That's stupid. The finished thing. Well, this TED Talk. Okay, again, this time, make it smart.